Adulas, welcome to the Hive. The time has finally come for us to talk about the ban list. Now, with Worlds just around the corner, we know that the ban list is coming straight after it. The question is, what is going to get hit and why? Now, as you might be able to see on screen in front of you, I have already pre-selected a couple of cards. This has been in discussion with the team overall to pick what should be banned, what should be limited, and some things that we'd like to see back, along with a couple of honourable mentions of cards that we all want. So to kick things off the gate, one that I'm pretty sure we're all certain will get banned is Paradise Smasher. This is very obviously one of the most degenerate cards in the game right now. It's too easy to make with a K9 engine in Vegrasol. It needs to go. It can't stay. Following on from that, there is the need to hit the crossover breakers decks. I'm not a big fan personally of hitting these. I don't think it needs to anymore. Justice Hunters has brought a power level for the rest of the game up to speed, so it's not as necessary. However, with that in mind, EXT Ryziel and Malice Q Whitebinder are what we've selected to hit. Whitebinder is just everything and more for the Malice deck. Getting rid of it takes a lot of the grind game away from them. It takes a lot of the extension away from them and puts them on more of a mid-range combo rather than just balls to the wall, sideburst combo slop. EXT Ryziel is the best starter. It's a board breaker, and it's just generally a very annoying card to come up against. It's something you never want to see your opponent have, and when it hits the board, you just sigh because you hate seeing it. It needs to go. Following on from that, a card that should have gone ages ago, Harpy's Featherstorm. Why this is still around, I don't know. It's still abused to this day, and I don't really know what to say about this that hasn't already been said a million times over. Stopping your opponent from being able to play the game full stop just shouldn't exist. And that's why I've put it down, and the team has agreed to get it gone. And as following that, we have got some limits. With that, we have Mitsurugi Prayers, Obedience Schooled, Heavy Storm, and these are the ones that we think are going to get hit going forward. Just like with Paradise Smasher with the K9 stuff, Obedience Schooled just gives Yummy too much power. The fact that they can play free of it, it's not a once per turn. It's someone's free from the deck for free. It gives that Yummy deck just the instant win button. If you do Ash the first one and they have the second one, you just wasted an Ash Blossom, and then just played into talents along with that. It's never a fun thing to come up against and should rightly go. Following on with that, we have Heavy Storm. Heavy Storm is a returning card that I do see coming back. It's been brought back in Master Duel, it's been brought back in the OCG. It hasn't made too much of a splash in either of them, and I think with that in mind, it would be safe for the TCG. Now, of course, it's still a very powerful card in its own right, and one that you need to be careful of if you are going to bring back. Now, we have got a couple of returnee cards as well, along with Heavy Stomps. We've got Summer Sorceress, Meow Meow Mew, and Electromite. Summer Sorceress has just got her errata here in the TCG, so this we already are well aware is definitely coming back to one at the very least. Meow Meow Mew is one of those cards that Prank Kids players, the ones that still love the deck, would want back. Its time has been and gone. I don't see Prank Kids becoming a top tier deck just because this has come back. It's something that you might want to pay attention to if it does, but coming back to one, it won't make any big major differences to the meta. Electromite, I've been calling for it. Everyone else has been calling for it for a very long time. Pendulum decks need a way to play the game, and they're way too susceptible to every type of interruption already. Electromite isn't going to change that really, but it does give them that bit of power that they need. And I think doing that, although we will at the risk of having Pendulum slop again, it still will make Pendulums a lot more fun and viable to play. Now, this is my own personal pick. I put it in every list. Kit Carlos to one. I still think at one she's perfectly fine in the current meta. Settlements will just become the same high roller deck it always was. Whether they have it or they don't, just giving them kit gives them a tiny bit more consistency. However, with that, none of the other cards should come back if she does. And there is even the argument that if she does come back, you might want to put the Planet or Suliek to one, just to help hinder the deck from being too powerful. Now for the semi-limits. I've personally just decided all the mulch armies need to go to two. Personally, I'd have them at one or none because they're not really that good for the game. However, having them at two each at the start to start with is a good sign of things to come, and also keeps them within their own strict usage of only two per turn. Drawing the third feels very redundant, and it's not something I want people to have as easy access to. So making it so that it's two and only two of for each of them. You could play all six in the main deck if you wanted to in that case, in which case it makes it more awkward when and how you use them. Along with that, Chaos Space. Yeah, this card can come back completely, to be honest. Dragon Link isn't going to be particularly great until Burst Protocol, but with that, given that extra bit of power of Chaos Space, it's not a bad thing. It's going to get either Rebellion or Wyver Burster or Collapse Serpent, which is absolutely fine. And especially in this current meta where you've got things like Yummy, K9, and of course Dracotail running around, along with stuff that's coming out in Doom Dimensions, although it might not be as powerful like Doomsy or DDD. Now for our own limits. Just following on from previous lists, Ash, Poplar, Wyver Buster, Collapse Serpent, and Shavara. There's no reason that these cards aren't back at free already. Not going to change a thing. With Snake Eyes, you can bring these back, but you cannot bring back OSS yet. I'm a big fan of OSS personally. I quite like the card. I think it's a good thing to come back to the game in general. But if you do so, you need to then relimit the Snake Eyes cards. Doing it this way makes it fair and keeps them relevant for a bit longer. So now we're back to the honourable mentions. The Nightmare duo, Goblin and Mermaid. These could come back, really. They've come back in Mastodon, not really done much. I'm not sure if they're back in the OCG or not, but given that Orcus did get some support and is now a more playable deck, giving them access to these nightmares again is not a bad thing. And I don't think they're going to make too much of an impact. However, I understand why they're not back, and I will not be surprised if they do not come back. That is the same for most of these cards in the honorable mentions. These are mentions that the team has decided their own personal picks. Adding to that, Borrowed Savage Dragon. Savage Dragon is a one of for Dragon Link. It is a generic 8 that does you put any link to it to give it the tokens, but it won't make much of a difference coming back at all. Especially with, like I said, Burst Protocol and Dragon Link, that it probably will come back around that time to help boost that deck and make it more of a push. But even then, I'm fine with that coming back now, to be honest. Baron, however, is one that's been selected. I don't want to see this card back. It's just a generic 10 that just negates. No, just no. We don't need it back. It's all day. I understand why people would want it back, especially those Infinable players. It just creates too many degen combos. If you give it an errata to make it a bit more strict to into the archetype it's supposed to be, then I'll be fine with it. But because it's not and it can be abused by things like Mekanko, I wouldn't want to see that. Branded Expulsion. Um, I personally never want to see this card come back unless they errata it, the same with Sanctifier, to being only branded cards that it can bring out. The fact that it can bring out any floodgate, such as Idol, which is currently being used by Sanctifier, which yet again I do personally I want to see Sanctifier gone, but I don't think that will happen. But yeah, I don't want to see this card come back at all. Misk, there is a big Dino fan on the team who really wants this card to 2. Personally, I don't think that will ever happen. I don't think Konami could ever risk putting it to more than 1. The same reason as for Sangan Summoning. If you stop people from being able to interact with your deck, you're just cutting off the game entirely and just making your boards ridiculous. Misk is a problem. Not in the fact that in itself it's too powerful, it just creates unfair game states. It's a card design that should never have been made in the first place, and doing so has limited what dinos could be overall, as any dino deck has to be considered with Misk, which shouldn't be the case because there's a lot of archetypes you could potentially make with dinosaurs that you can't because this card exists. A similar thing to the Fire Dragons going forward as well with Sangan Summoning. Like, yeah, you could do a load of different things, but with Sangan Summoning around, it makes it very limited in what you can actually do. But yeah, that's our list. If you don't agree with us or want to have further conversations about it, please don't forget to put them in the comments. Like and subscribe to the video. And as always, a huge thank you to our sponsors, Asters World, Ultimate TCG, and Zenbooks. Please find their discount codes and affiliate links below, and hope you all have a lovely rest of the day. Goodbye.